So, don't be alarmed, but I may have broken something. Howdy y'all, my name is Telios, and I'm a challenge runner. Can I tell you a secret? I cheat when I play this game. There, I admit it, I will post my apology video later. Now, I specifically cheat to give myself whatever weapon I'm featuring in a run, so I can use it starting in the Asylum. This is standard for runners, since we can't beat the game with a mid-game weapon if we don't start with it. In order to spawn weapons, I use DSR Gadget. The other day I was playing with it, and found a function to increase player speed. And then I got to thinking. And then I remembered why I don't think, and had 2 glasses of whiskey. The end result of all that was this video. Dark Souls, but my speed increases by 0.5 after every boss kill. In order to limit myself more, I decided to only use the rapier, and thus, the mosquito build was born. It gets its name from the fact that I will eventually move incredibly fast, and poke things to make them bleed. In case you're wondering why I don't increase my speed by 1 after every boss kill, the speed you saw me moving in the intro was what my speed would have been during the fight with Gwyn. I would absolutely get motion sickness during that fight, and I bet it would be unwatchable, so I'm going with a half speed increase instead of a whole one. Speaking of which, it's time for my first one. There isn't a hugely noticeable difference, but you can still start to see the effects. Notice the desync of the door animation and my player animation? If that bothers you, don't worry, it'll get so much worse. Having caught the Raven Express to Firelink, I found out that the Drake encounter has a hitbox. I also found out that the rapier is a terrible weapon to use on crystal lizards. Fortunately, this guy is slightly larger than the crystal lizard, so the mosquito was able to bleed him dry via a convenient hole in the skull. Our speed is now twice as high. Oh boy, that's quite the desync. I'm sure this won't cause problems. So, I think this is a good time to highlight a flaw of mine. If I feel invincible in the game, I am reckless. I won't be as careful dodging attacks, or I'll charge into a fight without healing. Basically, I become the guy in the action movie who dies in a predictably avoidable death. I bring this up because this run made me feel completely invincible. After all, I can run to the other end of the arena before the boss can even finish an attack, and I can attack 10 times before they react. Of course, even with super speed, this is still Dark Souls, and I am incredibly vulnerable. The greatest vulnerability is my own hubris, although I'm too prideful to admit it. My fake invincibility hasn't come into play yet, but I want you to remember this conversation later on. In the meantime, let's add to my perceived invulnerability.
Pull the lever, Grunk.
Okay. So, don't slide down ladders. The collisions don't work if I slide down ladders. It might seem weird to go back to the Asylum already, but I'm genuinely scared to try and do this platforming later on, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it right now. I tried to think of a comment or a joke, but it's the Asylum Demon 2.0. Good Sir Knight, are you aware that you are completely outmatched? For while you spent years mastering the blade, I was running from my responsibilities. Now taste my steel. That was a lucky hit. And that was overconfidence. Ha! See, I told you I was invincible. Now grab the key for future speed. After returning to Firelink, I very, very carefully went down the stairs and zipped through the undead berg. I also managed to kill that crystal lizard. Let's be honest, we're all curious about what will happen here. No matter how fast you go, those damn dogs will still get you. Fortunately, the real bosses of this encounter weren't so bothersome, although this big goat was a pretty annoying addition to the fight. Hit and run tactics mostly worked, although I misjudged my speed a few times. But sure enough, the mosquito won yet again. No, I don't want to talk about it. Although I didn't need to, I went ahead and freed the lunch special, and then grabbed the large ember. After struggling to kill some rats, and then easily killing their pet wizard, I got so lost, I found the rats again. Now, before anyone starts telling me how easy it is to navigate this place, I just want to say that I don't have an internal compass. You would have better luck following a blind chihuahua through a maze than you would have following me in a straight line. I'm better than my brother, at least. In grade school, he put a North, South, East, and West Virginia on the map. Although 3 years ago I did think the state of Georgia was east of me. And although I'm not going to say where I live exactly, Georgia definitely is not to the east of it. We are clearly both directional geniuses. Anyway, the story is over, and so is the Gaping Dragon. And now my speed is 3 times normal. Yippee! I thought about fighting Havel, but I did laughable damage, so I decided to run past him. See that door opening? That's my ghost haunting you, jackass. Well, since the door is conveniently open, I'm just gonna leave and make my way to a free speed boost. The Moonlight Butterfly is always free souls, so I'm not worried about this fight. Yeah, so anytime it attacks, I can just run to the other side of the wall, and the attacks miss completely. Sadly, I wasn't able to beat the entire thing in one landing, but I did come pretty close. With a little more stamina, I probably could have done it, but for once, I was actually cautious. I was admittedly nervous about the laser beam, because timing rolls at this speed is basically impossible now. But nothing is impossible for me, because I'm incredible. And shortly after that, I killed a butterfly. It doesn't sound as cool when I say it that way. Package acquired. As I was heading back to Andre, I slightly fell off a cliff, and discovered an area I completely forgot existed, so I guess that's cool. Apart from that, I stabbed a guy, got a shield made of grass clippings, and broke physics again. I'm actually stuck here. Someone help? And I'm free falling, and I'm free. Oops, sorry buddy. Although I was fast enough to dodge the enemies, I still wasn't fast enough to dodge Miyazaki's swamp fetish. So with poison in my heart, and every other major organ, I approached Quelaag. And then, through no fault of my own, I died. Trying that again, I made sure to wait for the AoE bubble to completely vanish before moving forward. And so, if I completely ignore the first attempt, I killed her on the first try. This guy feels slow normally, and in this playthrough, absolutely excruciating. You know, I had to join the objectively best covenant. With that crucial step out of the way, I could run on over to Sen's fortress, where only one area posed any real difficulty. This ledge. After conquering the boss that is gravity, I carefully ran on a narrow ledge, and challenged the Iron Golem to a David and Goliath rematch. There really isn't much to say about this fight. I run at Mach 5, and the Golem has about one idea every hour, so the fight was pretty one-sided. In all honesty, I think an actual statue would have stood a better chance against me than it did. And after a grueling battle that lasted exactly 2 minutes and 2 seconds, the Golem fell, allowing me to access the City of the Gods. And a very, very broken physics engine. Apart from that, Anor Londo wasn't too bad, although I do take great issue with this archer. But since I'm stuck, it's a good time to talk. We played 2 Truths and a Lie last video, and it's time to play again. Mr. Mean King wants me to guess if they reinstated their account to be a challenge runner, was unharmed from a 10-foot fall, or found me from the backlogs. My guess is the third one because Lemon hasn't actually talked about me on his channel, besides when we chat in his live streams. Adam J. Ross claims to have worked in a car accessory store, eaten a battery, and visited every continent. For the sake of your health, I hope the battery thing is a lie. And if not, are you good? Finally, Mr. Fred Orrington has eaten many animals, but I do not believe you've eaten caribou. If any of you three are watching this, let me know how I did. And now it's my turn. Have I worked as a teacher, worked in IT, or worked as a nurse? Well, I used to be a middle school English teacher and a special ed aide. I am currently an entire IT department, but I am nowhere near qualified to be a nurse, and you should be scared if I am ever your caregiver. Congratulations to all you who got it right. And now, with the night out of the way, let's carry on. Ornstein and Smo are usually the brick wall in a regular playthrough. They still wanted to be one. However, they really weren't that hard. The first death was just another example of my own overinflated ego. If you want more examples, go ahead and ask my wife. So, as long as I was careful, which is not my strong suit, Smo was more than happy to get poked. And once he was out of the way, the fight got difficult. Why does the script say the fight was hard? See, the fight did get difficult because I noticed something. Not only is it harder, at this point, to land a hit on a smaller target, such as Ornstein's shapely calves, my animation speed occasionally messes with the hitboxes and misses a clear hit. Fortunately, the hitbox issue only gets worse with time, so I can completely ignore it until I have no choice but to solve it. And with that threat looming behind me, I charged headfirst into this battle, and killed Ornstein with only minor hiccups. I regret nothing. While I display my PvP prowess, let's do another round of truth and lies. 1. I've been deported from Europe. 2. I've accidentally trespassed on a foreign military base. 3. I've done shots at a job. Give me your best guess and play in the comments below. So I killed the dragon, but I'm not sure if the jump attack will... I guess it does still work. Look out, Priscilla, I'm coming for that tail. Seeing how fast I can drain her health, I almost feel bad about this. But then I remembered I need the speed boost, and I stopped feeling bad. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Now if I just angle this dive right, I think I can... Perfect. Hello, Gwendolyn. How are you? Aw, I'm afraid your hallway can't save you this time. Now, ordinarily, I don't show the entirety of a boss fight just to save on length and also your own boredom, but there was something satisfying about this one that I hope you'll also enjoy. Really, my only regret is not running down the entire length of the hallway just because I could, but oh well. Soup bowl? Check. Now, I just need some appetizers to go with the soup. Maybe I can find some pinwheels down in the catacombs. Like, 2 of you are gonna get that joke. Why did I even write that? Anyway, from reading y'all's comments, I learned that there's actually a shortcut down to Pinwheel. I'll admit, I actually had no idea this was a thing, so thank you for teaching me something new. And although I was a little scared that I was too fast to actually get it, it went great. I thought I would get to make a joke about the fight's length here, but Pinwheel lasted longer than normal. Maybe it's because my divine weapon is weak, or maybe it's because of the hitbox issue. Definitely isn't because I'm bad at this game. Definitely not that. After Pinwheel, I encountered a small issue. Blind people should not move fast. To counter the issue, I decided to go and get the sunlight maggot. That way I wouldn't need to see. The maggots inside my brain could just tell me what to do. Now that the discharge was ceased, I had the appropriate response to demons. I ran away, just to be taught that my speed is my greatest weakness. The second try went better, and the fire sage and I found a riveting gameplay loop. He'd try to sit on me, I'd tell him I'm not into that, and then I would tickle his feet. I swear I'm a well-adjusted member of society. Speaking of feet, why did I say that? That was a horrible transition. It's the centipede demon. One problem though, I had like an hour of sleep when I fought him, and was convinced that it was impossible without a better weapon, instead of, you know, a healthy amount of sleep. Because of that, I decided to go back to the Tomb of Giants. That way, I could kill Nito, then remove the divine modifier from my rapier, before going back to Izalith. Even though the whole reason I was in Izalith was to get the Sunlight Maggot for the... Look, I make bad decisions when I'm tired, okay? And when I'm well rested. After that debacle, I made my way to Nito. There isn't much to say. My damage is terrible, but he can't hit me, so guess who wins? I returned my rapier to normal, and decided it was time to visit Sif. I'll tell you what, if you feel bad normally about fighting her, try moving faster than she can react. An honorable fight becomes an exercise in cruelty instead. Rest easy, Great Wolf. I am so sorry. After killing Sif, I figured it was time to finish my education. That master's degree isn't going to finish itself after all. Now, I can just quickly get the pendant for later, and I forgot to kill the Hydra. Whoops. Normally, during your first encounter with Seath, you walk in, can't hurt him or even reach him, and he kills you. During this encounter, I clipped through the floor. This is not how I thought my day was going to go. Luckily, thanks to some well-placed crystals, I could fix the problem of my continued existence and stage a jailbreak of epic proportions. Guess what, guys? I actually memorized the way out of this place. Who needs a mental map when you can just... Oh no. Well, that's not good. And neither is that. Let's try this again. I have no words. Am I moving incredibly cautiously? Yes. Am I terrified of this place at the moment? Yes. Does it matter? No. I'm pretty sure this place isn't OSHA approved. I mean, there's not a single guardrail here. After filing a workplace safety report, I prepared to beat up a blind, senile old librarian. During the fight, I got so excited that I broke reality. Again. And became stuck. Yeah. I was kinda worried I was gonna have to restart the fight. This is like that scene in the movie where a character gets stuck while the monster just slowly approaches them. Luckily, I'm the main character and therefore can't die. Seath is a supporting character, however, and is incredibly mortal. With 2 Lord Souls acquired, it was time to head back to Izalith. I don't want to play anymore. Like I was saying, it was time to head back to Izalith for a rematch with the Centipede Demon. Hey, why does your arm look dead? Oh, neat. Maybe it was because my rapier wasn't divine anymore, or because I used the Central Island, but the fight was a lot easier than last time. Oh, or maybe it's because I actually got at least 3 hours of sleep. Nah, can't be that. Healthy living doesn't affect quality of life at all. And trust me, I am not a nurse. With the demon dead, I was free to take a brisk stroll through lava, stab the acid bath, and then take the most frustrating slide of my life. Turns out, speed and sliding animations don't mix well. Any day now, buddy. You know, the worst part is knowing I'll have to do this again if I die. Not that such a thing like that is likely to happen. Damn it. Keep your eye on the prize. Oh, I know. I'll increase the speed after every boss. It'll be so fun. So very fun. There. No more living for you. After that, I needed to do something fun, so I bought some arrows, and then took them to the Hydra. while this does violate the rapier only build, I think it was worth it just to turn my bow into a fully automatic. Unsurprisingly, the Hydra died fairly quickly, so I made sure after that to go and free Dusk from the Golem, and then, finally, I grabbed the pendant from the archives. I was all geared for the DLC, but decided to finish the base game first, which means it's time for Ghost Town. For the first time ever, I was free to climb this ladder without getting stabbed by the walls. The return trip, however, was not so smooth. Once I was freed by some very helpful ghosts, I opened the floodgates and found myself stuck yet again. Man, talk about bad game design. Eventually, I did make my way down to the fog wall, and... Oh gosh, why is this a circle? Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick. Please, someone get me off this ride. Oh, thank God. Hello? Kings? Oh, there you are. The 4 kings didn't stand a chance, a fact which they seemed to know, given how half of them chose to do nothing but run away. The fools. They think running can actually save them. Little do they know that nothing can run from me, but they'll learn that soon enough. With all the Lord Souls acquired, it was time to cash my souls and head to the DLC. That's not good. Maybe it was a fluke? No? Oh boy. Yeah, so remember that issue I was ignoring? The one where my attacks didn't hit? I can't ignore it anymore. This fight took longer than it should have, only because I couldn't land a hit. Well, I usually couldn't land a hit. Sometimes I could time a running stab, but for a while I couldn't get the timing down, meaning about 1 out of every 10 stabs hit, and just about none of my regular attacks worked. I eventually figured out how to time the running stab well enough to get the job done, but it left a sour taste in my mouth and an ominous pit in my stomach. But the show must go on, and so, with my speed sitting at 11 times what it should be, it was on to Artorias. For once, I could actually keep pace with him. Not that it mattered since 80% of my attacks missed, but I made sure those 20% were doing their best. Unfortunately, the run and stat tactic I had used with the Sanctuary Guardian wasn't as reliable here, probably because I was faster and Artorias has a smaller hitbox. I did make it work, but it wasn't a promising indicator for how Gwyn was going to go. Regardless, with a final stab, the Abyss Walker went down. I hate this place normally, but speed makes everything worse. No, seriously. Moving this fast on stairs and inclines causes a great interaction where I sometimes rocket off in random directions midair. And you know what area is full of stairs and inclines? It's this place. Amazingly, after many attempts, I managed to make it to the small landing. Unfortunately, I did not stick the landing, but then, wonder of wonders, I made it. And, despite a rather risky landing, was able to carefully inch my way across the walkway. Now, just take it one step at a time, and put your keyboard through the wall. Okay, maybe combat on a narrow path will work better. Not sure what I expected there. Okay, I confess, I cheated. I held down Alt on my keyboard, which lets me move slower. Maybe that violates the challenge, but I stopped caring 2 hours ago. And with that roadblock cleared, I could go on to the next area. What's that area again? Oh, right. It's called Hell. Please, let me kill you. I just need this one victory. Yeah, that tracks. After going through the abyss with absolutely no difficulties whatsoever, I finally was able to reach Manus. Sadly, despite being the size of a small country, my attacks still couldn't reliably hit him. Charging into him sharp end first worked for a while, but for some reason just stopped working mid-fight. Then, out of desperation, I tried a heavy attack. Apparently, stabbing harder equals stabbing better, and every attack hit. Then I remembered his magic. I didn't bother grabbing the silver pendant because my animations are so fast that it probably wouldn't work right. To be honest, my plan was to just finish the fight before he used that particular attack again, but then I learned I can just ignore it. After confirming that that actually did work, I took advantage of the unexpected gift and ended the battle. With Manus defeated, that left one more boss. Gravity. Oh, and I guess there's a dragon over here too. Turns out, running quickly and stabbing is still an effective strategy. With no bosses left, and my speed almost at maximum, 13.5 if you're curious, I was ready to cross the kiln with the first flame and challenge Gwyn. The fight went about how you would expect. He attacked me, I got overconfident and accidentally got hit, a lot. Then I gave him some free acupuncture. To put my overconfidence on full display, there was a brief moment where I thought I could parry him for the final hit. I really have no explanation for what I was thinking. I wish I could blame sleep deprivation, but no. It was really just my two lone brain cells fighting for third place. Eventually, after taking multiple hits and burning through all of my Estus, I realized what a terrible idea that was, and decided to simply introduce Gwyn's organs to the outside world. Now, the first flame needed a guardian, and faced with such a grave responsibility, I put my speed to use and ran away. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. This started as a silly idea, but had some unexpected challenges in it. Maybe next time I'll increase everything's speed. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. It was great to have you. Until next time, remember that the world is a better place with you in it. Later.